Hi guys, it's Adam from Revolution Training Consultancy. I'm the owner and founder of the business. And here are my top 5 tips on running a successful webinar or workshop that delivers a return on investment. Tip number 1, plan. Simple. However, the amount of people I see start a webinar or start an online workshop, get it out there and never have a proper plan in place is incredible. They just know that they want to use it as a lead generation process, which is fine. However, you need to know what your end goal is. Is it to push a product? Is it to create awareness? Are you doing it to coincide with training you're running? Are you doing it to launch a new book, for example, and create awareness about that book? Once you know that end goal, you almost need to plan backwards. So, how much do you want to sell? How much awareness do you need to create? How much of an audience do you need to attract? Then what type of format are you having on that workshop, webinar, whatever you may want to call it? Then how are you going to attract that audience? Then it goes to, within the how to attract is the title of the webinar, but planning backwards enables you to create something that actually has a clear structure to it and will in turn be more successful. Step 2, finding the right platform. I can't express how important it is to find the right platform to work with rather than the cheapest or the most common. And the reason why I say that is the old school webinars, or using even the term webinar nowadays, is not popular because people used to fill it with 20 minutes of content or put in a bit of bait on the end of a hook and then spending the next half hour just ramming promotions or prices down people's throats. That's what a webinar has sort of almost turned into. But the most successful webinars out there are ones that coincide as an online workshop almost. But to create that interactivity you need, including audience, including chat rooms, including what you're able to do. Are you integrating YouTube, streaming live, creating polls within the workshop, creating question and answer sessions within the workshop, enabling other people to come in live while you're there. You need to now create webinars and online workshops that create a huge amount of interactivity, almost as close to being as face-to-face as possible. Now, I promise you, there are only very, very few webinars that actually provide the features that enable you to do that. So before you go jumping into just picking your standard off-the-shelf, probably more well-known webinar platform, do some research into picking the right one that suits the plan that you created in step 1. Right, tip number 3. So your marketing and your ad campaigns are really important here. Okay, I'm not saying you have to go on Instagram or Facebook and do big paid campaigns. You can do that if you want to. But what is really key when you're trying to attract an audience to a webinar or an online workshop is portraying the message you really want to deliver at the beginning. So instead of just putting join my webinar on sales or join my webinar to help you make more money, is absolute rubbish because there's so many out there. The best and webinars where you get an authentic audience is when you advertise or you put your campaign out there, you portray the message of what people will get. So how will it affect that individual and what are you trying to do to deliver fantastic content to that person? So you have the title of the webinar, and then we always put, during this process, we promise you this is what you'll come out with. That way, people read the post and they say, all right, okay, it resonates with that individual. Even if it's one point, they will be attending for a purpose that's relevant to them. Point number 4, structure the sessions. Okay, what I mean by that is don't kill people with PowerPoint presentations for an hour to 2 hours. The key of a successful webinar or online workshop is retaining the audience, having a minimal amount of drop-off point. So for example, the webinars and workshops that we run, we are extremely proud of that. Actually, the people that do attend live, we always, our stats, I think our biggest drop-off is only like 5%. How do we do that? Simple. You have an hour. An hour is the ultimate time that people will stay engaged. Fact. So you're doing a webinar, could be taking out time with someone this evening, could be taking time out of someone's work day. But you have about an hour. Any longer than that, you will lose people. Fact. So within that hour, we need to then break that down. Half hour. On the half hour mark, I want whoever is presenting to be finished with the theory. Okay? So they can use slides, they can use a YouTube video, they can talk on a live big video to the audience, but it's half hour of factual, high quality content given across the message that you want to deliver. Then we go to 15 minutes of summary. And what I mean by that is not just summarising the last half hour, but picking out the key facts and interacting with the audience that's live, using the platform that you've done research in where you start asking questions to them. So you're not waiting for questions to come back, you are creating interactivity by asking them questions on the key points within that first half hour. That way you know that when they come back, whether that's just a yes or whether that's a yes and an example, or they're providing you with an example, you know that the audience has retained the information that you've given. And also they're engaged. The last 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, let's just say take that 10-minute section, is all about Q&A. Get them to make the most of you in that subject. Really encourage from the offset that you want to hear from them about questions and answers. You want to give your answers and give your time at 10 minutes to your audience. And that last 5 minutes is just a clear summary with an action point or action button or some form of action that the attendees need to take to either move further down the process, look for more information on the product that you're promoting or you're discussing, or the book or whatever that may be. Number 5, call it the follow-up process. So what we are very good at is following up with everybody. So we want to receive feedback. So we want to constantly improve. We want to constantly increase engagement. We want to see what people's thoughts are, what journey they've taken, and what implementation they've done. This follow-up process is very simple and easy to do. Quite frankly, there's so many mail-out softwares out there that can help you achieve that. There's ways of, it depends on what data you've attracted from the start, but some people may provide you their details so you could pick up the phone. But literally in the whole course of it, until the next part of the process, you need to follow up. Mails, telephones, as much contact as you can. They're actually in scope over that period of time between the two sessions, or between you and product purchase or whatever you're trying to do. You are, 1, obtaining feedback from yourself to make your next one even better. 2, you're making sure that people have, I suppose, implemented what you're trying to do and what you're trying to show them. And 3, you're basically communicating with people and showing that you care. What that will do is naturally want them to come back for more, either the next session or whatever the process is, but also they're more than happy to usually tell someone else about you. So we get a lot of increase in our audiences from one person within an organisation that's been on the webinar the month before, and what they've then done is gone back and said, you know what guys, this is fantastic, and you can see that they forwarded the invite to another 5 to 10 other people. So naturally we see an organic increase in our audience. Right guys, thanks for watching my 5 tips to run a successful webinar or online workshop. In the next screen you will see my email address plastered along the bottom. What I want people to do is, by all means, ask me any questions you've got. Okay, we do this every single day for ourselves and our clients with phenomenal success. Put a lot of time in researching and making sure it works and delivers a return. And that doesn't need to be a monetized return, but some form of return to you and your time and your business. So please ask me any questions, email me, contact me, put a comment below and let me know what you think. If anyone is interested, we also do a free ebook, which I think has about 10 steps in to making a successful webinar. By all means, anyone that emails me and has watched this video, you will get a copy of that
Thank you
book.
for watching.
Lastly,
Please subscribe
don't forget,
to our channel.
if you've enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up
Email
and
us
subscribe,
at
and we'll see you next time.
adam.johnson@revolutiontrain.co.uk.